Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we will weave a placement with the pattern resembling the stockinett stitch. I will color my paper rods in pastel beige. If you need to get a pastel color of any tint, you need to use the white base. I use gold prime acrylic primer and sealer, but you can experiment with any other similar products you have available. I will also use the water-based wood stain from Rust-Oleum in brown color. I have prepared a 500 ml glass jar and added approximately 100 ml of acrylic primer to it. Now I add 3 tablespoons of water-based wood stain, mix it. Add some water, mix it thoroughly. I also add some baby oil into the mixture. Baby oil will prevent the paper rods from sticking together. If you use some other coloring agents, for example the homemade wood stain or fabric dye, and do not use any acrylic primer, it is not necessary to use the baby oil. I insert one paper rod into the mixture I have just prepared to see if I like the color. So I will color all the paper rods with this mixture. I will color the paper rods in a plastic container and will use a brush. Don't forget to wear the gloves. I need approximately 220 paper rods for each placemat. My paper rods are 27 cm long. Put the freshly colored paper rods on the paper to remove any extra paint. I use the puppy training pads for that. Arrange the paper rods on a rack to air dry them. Make sure you complete all the next steps before you proceed to weaving the placemat or anything else. The next step is treating the colored and dried paper rods with a mixture of Mod Podge and water. You can use any other acrylic varnish instead of Mod Podge. Then dry the treated paper rods. The last step is moisturizing and curing the weavers, which will make them flexible. Do not moisturize the stakes. You can find the videos with the detailed description of every step on my channel and also in the description to this video. We will start from making a flower-shaped center. Take 6 weavers. They need to be properly moisturized and cured. Flatten them by pressing with your fingers and fold them in half. Take 2 weavers and insert one into another this way. Make sure the halves of each weaver are on top of each other rather than next to each other. Take the third weaver and place it over one weaver and into the other. The fourth weaver needs to be placed parallel to one of the arranged weavers. Place it over the first weaver into the second and parallel to the third weaver. The fifth weaver goes around one and into 2 weavers. And the last 6 weaver goes over 2 and into 2 weavers. We've got an arrangement similar in shape to a hexagon. Before you start tightening it up, check if the position of the weavers is correct. Each weaver should go over 2 and into 2 weavers. Over, over, inter, inter. Over, over, inter, inter. Now start tightening it little by little. Glue 2 weavers together, fold them, and place around the first pair of stakes. Bring the weaver from the back up and over the first pair of stakes and the top weaver down behind. Do the same again around the next pair of stakes, bringing the weaver from the back up and over and the top weaver down behind. Rotate the slats as you go so that the handling is the same with each stroke. Keep the weavers pulled in tightly. This type of weaving is called the pairing weave. Weave around 6 pairs of stakes. After finishing one round, start spreading the stakes out. Pay very close attention to weaving around the left stake in the first pair of stakes. We need to bind the row of the pairing weave off. If we wanted to continue the pairing weave, we would have placed the weavers this way. Instead, move the bottom weaver aside, place the top weaver behind the stake and out, and then bring the bottom weaver to the front and place it over the top weaver. Continue weaving the second row the same way you wove the first row, but weave around each stake individually. When you need to connect another weaver, make a kink with a nail at the place where the weaver touches the stake. Cut its end off about 2-3 mm to the right of the kink to make a long point. Cut the tiny corner off at the butt end of the second weaver to make sure the edge of the butt is even. Put a drop of glue into the butt end of the second weaver. Seam the cut end of the first weaver down by pressing it with your fingers, then make a kink in the middle with your nail, fold the end of the rod and insert it as far as it goes into the hollow of the second weaver. Rotate the newly connected weaver a little bit to secure the connection. We have reached the first stake. I always mark it with a piece of masking tape or a pin. We need to bind the row of the parent weave off again. We will do the same thing as we did at this stake at the previous row. If we wanted to continue the parent weave, we would have placed the weavers this way. Instead, move the bottom weaver aside, place the top weaver behind the stake and out, and then bring the bottom weaver to the front of the top weaver. We will weave the next row with the reverse weave. Alternate the regular parent weave with the reverse parent weave up until you reach the desired size of the placemat. To make the reverse weave, we need to do exactly the same thing we have just done at the first stake. Move the bottom weaver aside, place the top weaver behind the stake and out, and then bring the bottom weaver to the front over the top weaver. Continue weaving with the reverse parent weave up until you reach the first stake. My first stake is marked with a piece of the green masking tape. It's time to connect a new rod. Since we are making a reverse parent weave, we need to cut the old weaver in a different place as compared to the ordinary parent weave. Cut the weaver off 2-3 mm left of the stake, so that the junction is located at this spot and is concealed by the overlaying weaver. Don't forget to make a kink with your nail at the place where the weaver touches the stake. We have approached the first stake. Instead of placing the weaver as if we were making a parent weave, take a knitting needle and make a space left of the first stake and under the already woven rod. Poke the top weaver in, place it behind the stake and out to the front. Move the bottom weaver to the front. We have stepped up to the next row, which will be the regular parent weave. We are at the first stake again. Arrange the weavers as if you are making a reverse weave. Continue with the reverse weave. We are at the first stake again. Arrange the weavers as if you are making a reverse weave. Continue with the reverse weave. Step up to the next row the way you did it at the previous reverse weave row. Help yourself with a knitting needle. Now it's time to replace the old stakes and to add the new ones. Put the plastic straws on the weavers to keep the moisture in. Cut the old stakes off using the shear cutters. Prepare 12 dry paper rods. Cut approximately 3 cm off at the butt end of each rod. Using a knitting needle, make space to the right of the existing stake. Apply some glue to the cut surface of the paper rod and insert it with the cut surface touching the existing stake. Repeat the same step with the second rod, but insert it to the left of the existing stake. Insert the double stakes all around the bottom in the same manner. After we have doubled the stakes, the position of the first stake changed. Now the first stake is located to the left of the originally marked first stake. Make sure you mark the correct stake. Take the plastic straws off and weave around the doubled stakes. This row is a regular pairing weave. Don't forget to step up to the next row correctly. The distance between the stakes is still less than 2 centimeters, so I can weave another row on the double stakes. It's a reverse pairing weave row. Step up to the next row by biting the reverse pairing weave off. Now you can weave around one stake at a time. Make sure the weave is tight. Use the knitting needle to spread the stakes out if necessary. When the distance between the stakes reaches 2 centimeters, add additional stakes. Don't forget to put the plastic straws on the weavers to keep the moisture in. I don't need long stakes, that's why I cut each stake in half to make a long point. I cut 12 paper rods in half and got 24 short stakes. Insert them in the same way next to the existing stakes. If you insert them the way I do, to the right of the existing stake, make sure you relocate the marker of the first stake to the newly added stake, which, in my case, is located to the right of the previously marked first stake. Make one row on the doubled stakes. Now spread the stakes out by weaving around one stake at a time. It's time to prepare the stakes for making a border. Cut the old stakes off using a shear cutter. At this time, instead of inserting the dry paper rods, we will insert the weavers. Again, don't forget to protect your weavers from drying by putting the plastic straws on them. Cut approximately 3 cm off at the butt end of the moisturized weaver. Make space right on top of the existing weaver by using a knitting needle. Apply some glue on the cut surface and insert the rod with the cut surface down, facing the existing stake. It's a close-up view. Put a plastic straw on every stake that you add to prevent them from drying. We will need them to be nicely moisturized for making a body. Another close-up view. Insert the stakes all around the bottom. Weave 3 more rows, alternating the regular and the reverse pairing weave. We have finished weaving the bottom. It's 30 cm in diameter. Altogether I wove 26 rows. The last row is a regular pairing weave, and now we need to cut and hide the ends of the weavers. Take the top weaver and make a kink at the spot where it touches the stake. Cut the weaver about 1 cm away from that kink to make a long point. Using a knitting needle, make a space next to the stake located to the left of the marked stake. Poke the weaver in. Place the bottom weaver over the top weaver which you have just poked in, and in front of the same stake. Cut and poke it in to the left of the marked stake, the way you have just done with the other weaver. I placed the weaved bottom on the box so that to keep the weavers out of the way, and prepared 6 pieces of the paper rods folded in half. I will call them the auxiliary rods. This time we will make a 4-rod body. Take the plastic straws of approximately 10 stakes. Place 2 auxiliary rods on the first stake and lift it up vertically. Place 1 auxiliary rod on the second stake, then bend the stake to put it on the neighboring stake behind the auxiliary rod, not on top of it. Lift the stake up vertically. Repeat this step for the third and for the fourth stakes. Now we have 4 weavers placed behind the neighboring stakes and to the front. Take the leftmost weaver, put it on the first horizontal stake, put the vertical stake behind it, and lift the stake up. We have 1 pair and 3 single weavers at the bottom. Repeat the same step 3 more times, always taking the leftmost weaver. Now we have 4 pairs of the weavers at the bottom. Take the right weaver from the leftmost pair and repeat the same step. Continue weaving the border in the same manner up until you approach the first stake. Take the plastic straws off as you go. We have approached the first take. Take two auxiliary rods out and place the weaver in their place. Repeat the same step for the remaining weavers. The auxiliary rods show exactly where to place the weavers. Here we poke it in under one weaver that is already in place. Here we poke it in under two weavers. Under three weavers. And under four weavers. Make sure the border is tight all around. Flip the weave over and use the shear cutter to cut the remaining parts of the paper rods as close to the weave as possible. We have finished weaving the placemat. Now we need to prime it with a mixture of the acrylic varnish and water at the proportion of 1:1. I use glossy Mod Podge. It's the same solution I use for treating the paper rods after coloring. Apply the mixture generously all over the placemat. Use another clean dry brush to ensure the even distribution of the mixture all over the placemat. This step is very important because after you treat the placemat or any newspaper basket with this mixture, it will become moisture-proof, very solid, all the weavers will be glued to each other, and it will be impossible to unweave the basket or to deform it in the course of the ordinary use. After you treat the placemat with this mixture, you will be able to wash it as many times as you wish and to use a soft soap or even a brush or sponge for cleaning it if necessary. Let it dry for about 15 minutes. Then put it on a plastic or glass surface. Put something flat made of plastic or glass on top of it and place something heavy on it. Let the placemat air dry for at least 12 hours. Now it's ready to be used.